Admiral Daewon stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the impossible data on his screens. For 12,000 years, the Galactic Dominion had recorded everything. Every ship, every weapon, every civilization that dared to reach for the stars. The archives contained it all, stored in massive data vaults that stretched across 3 planets. Nothing escaped the archives. Nothing. Until today. Run it again, Daewon ordered. His voice was calm, but his hands gripped the rail in front of him. Lieutenant Hana tapped her console. The hologram appeared again, showing the battle that should not have happened. 347 Krellith warships hung in space near the outer rim. The Krellith were monsters both in body and in war. Their ships could crack planets. Their weapons could boil oceans. The Dominion itself feared them. The hologram showed all 347 ships. Then 4 minutes and 42 seconds later, it showed nothing. Just debris, floating metal and fire where an armada had been. What weapon does this? Daewon whispered. Hana shook her head. Her young face was pale. She had spent 6 hours searching the archives. Nothing in our records, sir. The energy signature is completely unknown. The blast pattern suggests a single point of origin. One ship did this? Yes, sir. One ship destroyed an entire Krellith war fleet in under 5 minutes. The bridge fell silent. Around them, officers stared at their stations. They had all seen the data. They all knew what it meant. Somewhere in the galaxy, something existed that the Dominion had never encountered. Something powerful enough to erase the Krellith like dust. Daewon straightened his uniform. Prepare the investigation fleet. We leave in 2 hours. Supreme Archon Taiyang appeared on the communication screen. His face was old, lined with centuries of ruling. Admiral, the Council wants answers. How did this happen? How did we not know? I intend to find out, Supreme Archon. The Krellith are demanding blood. They want to know who destroyed their fleet. If we cannot provide answers, they will assume we did it. We will have war. Daewon nodded slowly. Then I will get you answers. The investigation fleet arrived at the debris field 3 days later. 15 ships surrounded the area where the Krellith armada had died. Scanners swept through the wreckage. Recovery teams collected pieces of destroyed vessels. Hana worked at her station without sleeping. She ran every test the Dominion had developed over 12 millennia. Each test gave her the same answer: unknown. The weapons were unknown. The technology was unknown. Even the materials used in the attack were strange, composed of elements that existed but arranged in ways the Dominion had never seen. It's like they skipped forward 1,000 years, she told Daewon. While we perfected what we knew, someone else discovered completely different methods. But who? Daewon stared at the debris floating past his window. The archives track every civilization. We find them when they first reach space. We monitor them. We record them. There are no surprises. Perhaps they hid, Hana suggested carefully. Perhaps they developed in secret. No one can hide from the Dominion. But even as he said it, Daewon wondered. The galaxy was vast. The Dominion was powerful, yes, but were they truly all-seeing? Had arrogance made them blind? Recovery Team 7 found something. A black box still intact among the Krellith wreckage. They brought it aboard immediately. Hana connected it to her systems, her hands shaking with excitement. There's a transmission, she said. Audio only. Recorded just before the attack. Play it. Sound filled the bridge. A voice spoke in a language Daewon had never heard. The words were harsh but flowing, rising and falling with strange rhythm. The voice was calm, professional. It spoke for 30 seconds, then silence. What language is that? Daewon asked. Hana was already running it through the linguistic database. The computer analyzed every known language in the galaxy. Thousands of species, millions of dialects, all recorded and cataloged. The analysis took 3 minutes. The result appeared on screen. Hana gasped. That's impossible. And what is it? The computer says it's Old Earth language. Korean specifically. A human language. Daewon felt cold. Humans, the extinct species? Yes, sir. But that's impossible. Earth was destroyed 800 years ago. Natural cataclysm. The entire planet became uninhabitable. The species died out. Apparently not. Daewon stepped closer to the screen. What does the message say? Hana worked quickly, pulling up translation protocols. It says, "This is Captain Hyun-woo of the Korean Deep Space Force's ship Taegeuk. You have attacked our research outpost and killed our people. This is your only warning. Leave our territory or face destruction." The bridge was silent again. Korean Deep Space Forces? Daewon repeated. There is no such thing. Earth had no space force. They were barely reaching their own moon when the cataclysm hit. The archives confirm it, sir. Earth never developed interstellar travel. They never left their solar system. Then who sent this message? No one had an answer. Daewon ordered every piece of data collected and sent to the council. He watched as scientists examined the debris, as linguists studied the transmission, as military analysts tried to understand the weapons. Each expert came back with the same response: unprecedented. On the fourth day, Hana discovered something in the scan data. Admiral, look at this. She pulled up an energy reading. This was detected at the edge of the battle zone. It's a quantum signature. Quantum signature. That's theoretical technology. We've never successfully... They have, sir. This ship, whatever it is, uses quantum displacement drives. They can move through folded space. That's how they appeared without warning. That's how they destroyed the Krellith so quickly. Daewon felt a chill run down his spine. Quantum drives were thought impossible. The mathematics worked, but the energy requirements were beyond anything the Dominion could produce. Yet someone had done it. Someone had built the impossible. There's more, Hana continued. Her voice was quiet. Long-range sensors detected something an hour ago. The unknown ship is moving. It changed course. Where is it going? Hana turned to face him. Her eyes were frightened. Toward Dominion space, sir. It's heading directly toward us. Daewon immediately sent an alert to the council. Emergency protocols activated across Dominion territory. Fleets mobilized. Defense stations powered up. The most powerful military force in the galaxy prepared for an enemy they could not identify. Supreme Archon Taiyang appeared on screen again. His calm was gone. Admiral, tell me this is a mistake. Tell me there isn't an unknown hostile heading toward our core worlds. I cannot tell you that, Supreme Archon. Whoever this is, they have technology beyond ours. They destroyed the Krellith effortlessly. If they want war, then we will give them war. Taiyang's anger flashed. Mobilize everything. I want every ship between that unknown and our territory. We will not be threatened. Supreme Archon, perhaps we should attempt communication. If they are human, humans are extinct. Taiyang shouted. Whatever this is, it is a threat. You have your orders, Admiral. The screen went dark. Daewon looked at his officers. They waited for his command. He thought about the voice in the transmission. Calm, professional. Not aggressive, but firm. A warning, not a threat. Hana, how long until the unknown ship reaches Dominion space? At current speed, 72 hours, sir. 3 days. 3 days to understand what was happening. 3 days before the Dominion faced an enemy that did not exist in their perfect records. Daewon returned to his quarters and accessed the archives himself. He searched for Earth, for humans, for anything that might explain this. The records were clear. Earth destroyed, species extinct. Case closed 800 years ago. But somewhere in the darkness of space, a ship approached. A ship that should not exist, carrying people who should be dead, wielding weapons that should be impossible. The archives were wrong. And if the archives could be wrong about this, what else had the Dominion gotten wrong? The Dominion border fleet assembled in record time. 160 ships formed a wall across space, their weapons charged and ready. Admiral Daewon commanded from his flagship at the center of the formation. He had fought pirates, rebels, and rival empires. He had never felt this uncertain. Lieutenant Hana worked beside him now, promoted for her analysis work. She monitored the approaching vessel on her screens. Contact in 40 minutes, sir. The ship is not slowing down. Have they responded to our hails? No, sir. We've broadcast on every frequency. No response. Daewon watched the tactical display. The single red dot moved steadily toward his fleet. 1 ship against 160. Either they were insane or they knew something he did not. All ships hold position, he ordered. Do not fire unless fired upon. I want to talk to them first. The Supreme Archon had ordered him to destroy the unknown on sight. But Daewon was old enough to remember when the Dominion had made first contact with the Krellith. That had started with violence. It had cost millions of lives before peace was established. He would not repeat that mistake. The ship appeared on visual sensors. Hana gasped. Daewon understood why. It was beautiful. Sleek and silver, shaped like a blade cutting through space. Energy rippled along its hull in patterns that seemed alive. The design was nothing like Dominion vessels with their heavy armor and brutal angles. This ship looked fast, elegant, deadly. Reading massive energy signatures, Hana reported. Their power output is 3 times our flagship. And sir, I'm detecting weapons I've never seen before. Singularity generators, neural combat networks. This ship alone could fight our entire fleet. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Day 1 opened a channel. Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Day 1 of the Galactic Dominion. Please identify yourself. We wish to speak peacefully. Silence. The ship continued forward, passing the outer edge of the fleet formation. Dominion vessels tracked it with weapons but held fire. Then a voice spoke. Male. Calm. Speaking that same strange language from the transmission, Hana's computer translated instantly. This is Captain Hyunwoo of the KDSF Taeguki. I am willing to speak with you, Admiral. But know this. If any of your ships fire on mine, I will respond. And you will not survive. Day 1 felt sweat on his palms. Understood, Captain. May I ask what KDSF stands for? Korean Deep Space Forces. And Korean refers to? Earth. My people are from Earth. The bridge erupted in whispers. Hana silenced them with a gesture. Day 1 kept his voice steady. Captain, our records indicate Earth was destroyed 800 years ago. How is this possible? Your records are incomplete, Admiral. Perhaps intentionally so. I think we should discuss this face to face. I am sending docking coordinates. The Taeguki transmitted a location, a neutral station on the border, between Dominion and uncharted space. Day 1 agreed immediately. 20 hours later, he stood in a meeting room with 10 guards around him. Hana stood at his side, her computer ready to record everything. The door opened. 3 humans walked in. Day 1 had seen pictures of humans in the archives, ancient images from before the extinction. These people looked the same but different. They were shorter than most Dominion species with dark hair and eyes. They wore uniforms of deep blue and white. They moved with confidence that came from knowing exactly how dangerous they were. The man in front extended his hand. Captain Hyunwoo, this is my science officer, Dr. Minji, and my tactical officer, Commander Ji-won. Daewon shook the hand, copying the human gesture. Admiral Daewon. This is Lieutenant Hana. Please sit. They sat across from each other. Hyunwoo studied Daewon with sharp eyes. You seem surprised we exist. Your species is listed as extinct in our archives. Your archives are wrong. Hyunwoo placed a data chip on the table. 900 years ago, Earth's government saw disaster coming. Environmental collapse, resource depletion. They knew the planet was dying. So they sent out colony ships, secret missions to establish humanity beyond Earth. Dr. Minji continued the story. One ship carried 50,000 Koreans, scientists, engineers, soldiers, farmers. We traveled for decades before finding a suitable world. We named it New Hanguk. We built a civilization there. While Earth died, Hana asked softly. While Earth died, Hyunwoo confirmed. His voice was hard. We sent messages back. For 200 years we sent messages, asking if anyone survived, offering to help. We received no response. Because there was no one left to respond, Daewon said. The cataclysm killed everyone. Did it? Hyunwoo leaned forward. Or did something else happen? Your Dominion has been in this region of space for thousands of years. You monitor everything. You record everything. So tell me, Admiral, what really happened to Earth? Daewon felt uncomfortable under that stare. The records say natural disaster. The planet became uninhabitable. Show me these records. Hana pulled up the archive files. The humans read them carefully. Minji's expression darkened. Jiwon's jaw clenched. Hyunwoo remained calm, but his eyes were cold. These records are lies, Hyunwoo said finally. Look at the dates. Look at the details. They're too vague. Too convenient. What are you suggesting? Daewon asked. I'm suggesting the Dominion knows more than these files show. I'm suggesting Earth didn't just die. Something killed it, and someone doesn't want the truth known. The accusation hung in the air. Daewon wanted to deny it, but he had been thinking the same thing since finding that transmission. The archives were too perfect, too complete, except for Earth. That file was shallow, brief, as if someone had removed most of the information. Why did you destroy the Krelith fleet? Daewon changed the subject. Because they attacked us first. Jiwon spoke for the first time. Her voice was sharp. They found one of our research outposts. They demanded we submit to their authority. When we refused, they opened fire. They killed 200 scientists, civilians, so we killed them. All of them, in 4 minutes. We gave them a chance to retreat, Hyunwoo said. They chose to keep fighting. We don't give second chances in combat, Admiral. We learned that lesson the hard way. Minji pulled up data on her tablet. While your Dominion has been using the same technology for thousands of years, we've been innovating. We had to. We were alone. No allies. No trade partners. Just us against the universe. So we pushed boundaries. We developed quantum displacement drives, singularity weapons, neural combat systems. We built ships that could survive anything. And you've been hiding all this time? Anna asked. Not hiding, surviving. We explored carefully, avoided detection, built our civilization in secret. We have 3 star systems now. 4 billion people. We've been watching the galaxy, watching the Dominion. Why reveal yourselves now? Hyunwoo's expression hardened. Because the Krellith found us. Because we know they report to the Dominion. Because if we're discovered anyway, we'll face you on our terms, not yours. We don't control the Krellith, Daewon protested. But you work with them. You trade with them. You include them in your galactic order. Hyunwoo stood up. Here's what's going to happen, Admiral. You have 72 hours to tell me the truth about Earth. Access your real archives. Find out what actually happened. Because if you don't, I'll assume the worst. I'll assume the Dominion was involved. And if that's true, then we're at war. Captain, please, 72 hours. Hyunwoo headed for the door. Minji and Ji-won followed. At the threshold, he turned back. One more thing. Don't try to follow us. Don't try to find our worlds. Your sensors can't track quantum displacement. And if you send ships after us, they won't come back. The door closed. Daewon sat down heavily. Around him, his guards looked shaken. Anna was pale. Sir, what do we do? Daewon thought about the calm threat in Hyunwoo's voice. The confidence. The certainty. This was not a species that bluffed. They had destroyed the Krellith without hesitation. They would do the same to the Dominion if provoked. We find the truth, Daewon said. Contact the Council. Tell them we need access to the deep archives. The classified sections. The ones even I haven't seen. Sir, those files are restricted to Supreme Archon level only. Then we go above the Supreme Archon. We go to the Elder Council. The ones who were alive when Earth died. Hana's eyes widened. You think the Dominion really did something? I think those people didn't travel across the galaxy just to make threats. I think they know something. And I think if we don't find out what, we're going to lose more than a fleet. We're going to lose everything. In space, the Taguchi vanished in a flash of quantum light. One moment it was there, the next gone, as if it had never existed. But Daewon knew it existed. And somewhere in the darkness, more ships like it were waiting, watching, ready. The clock was ticking. The Elder Council chamber was a place few ever saw. Built into an ancient station orbiting the Dominion's capital world, it held the oldest members of the government. These beings had lived for thousands of years. They remembered when the Dominion was young. They remembered everything. Admiral Daewon stood before them now with Lieutenant Hana at his side. 5 ancient beings sat in curved seats above them. Their forms were different from each other, representing the first species that had formed the Dominion millennia ago. But their eyes were all the same, old, tired, and sad. You request access to classified historical files, the Center Elder said. His voice sounded like stone grinding. This is unprecedented, Admiral. The situation is unprecedented, Elder Sungmin. Daewon kept his voice respectful but firm. A human vessel has given us 72 hours to explain what happened to Earth. If we cannot, they threaten war. And based on what we've seen, they can win that war. Humans. Sungmin's ancient face twisted with pain. I had hoped that shame would stay buried. Then there is something hidden? Sungmin looked at the other elders. They nodded slowly. He turned back to Daewon. What I tell you cannot leave this room without council approval. Do you understand? Yes, Elder. Very well. Sungmin stood, moving slowly. He was incredibly old, even for his long-lived species. Earth was not destroyed by natural cataclysm. That was a lie we told to cover our crime. The words hit Daewon like a physical blow. Beside him, Hana gasped. 900 years ago, the Dominion was expanding rapidly. We needed resources, minerals, rare elements. We surveyed thousands of worlds. Earth was one of them. Sungmin's voice was heavy with regret. The planet was rich in resources. The dominant species, humans, were intelligent but primitive. They had not reached the stars yet. Under Dominion law, that made them unprotected. You took their world, Daewon whispered. We strip-mined it. Massive corporate fleets descended on Earth. They extracted everything of value. They poisoned the water. They burned the atmosphere. They killed the planet. Sungmin closed his eyes. The humans fought back. With their primitive weapons. They died in billions. By the time anyone in the council realized what was happening, it was too late. And you covered it up. Yes, the corporations were powerful. They had political connections. And the humans were just one species among thousands. The council decided it was easier to hide the truth. We listed Earth as naturally destroyed. We altered the archives. We made sure no one would ever know what we had done. Hana's voice shook. How could you? We were wrong. Another elder spoke now, her voice like wind. Many of us argued against it. But we were outvoted. The Dominion's reputation was more important than justice for one extinct species. Or so they said. Except they weren't extinct. Daewon felt anger rising in him. Some escaped. Built a new civilization, and now they've come back. What do they want? Sungmin asked. The truth, justice, maybe revenge. They deserve all three. Sungmin looked at the other elders. I will give you access to the real files, everything, the mining operations, the casualties, the cover-up. Take it to them. Tell them we confess our crime. That will destabilize the entire Dominion, Hana protested. If people know the Council has been lying for centuries, then perhaps the Dominion deserves to be destabilized. Sungmin transferred files to Hana's computer. I have lived with this guilt for 900 years. I voted against the cover-up. I tried to stop it. I failed. This is my chance to finally do what's right. Daewon took the files. They were enormous. Detailed records of everything the Dominion had done to Earth. Mining operations. Military actions against human resistance. Death counts. The extinction of an entire planetary civilization. Documented in cold data. Thank you, Elder. Don't thank me yet, Admiral. When this gets out, there will be chaos. War, possibly. The Dominion has many enemies who will see this as weakness. Sungmin was right. Within hours of Daewon returning to his ship, Hana had leaked the files to the Taiguchi. She did it without asking permission. When Daewon found out, she stood before him without apology. It was the right thing to do, sir. It was treason, Lieutenant. Yes, sir. It was also justice. Daewon wanted to be angry, but he couldn't. She was right. He filed no charges. The Taiguchi responded immediately. Captain Hyunwoo's message was brief. We will consider this information. Stand by, but they did not stand by alone. Sensors detected multiple quantum signatures appearing in nearby space. 5 more ships materialized. Each one was similar to the Taiguchi, but with variations. Different weapons, different configurations. Together they formed a small but terrifyingly advanced fleet. This is Captain Borum of the KDSF Keonan, a new voice announced. She sounded young but hard. We've reviewed the files you provided. The Korean government has authorized me to make first official contact with the Galactic Dominion. A communication channel opened. Daewon found himself looking at another human. Borum was smaller than Hyunwoo, with sharp features and calculating eyes. Behind her he could see the bridge of her ship, filled with crew working at stations that looked nothing like Dominion technology. Captain Borum, I am Admiral Daewon. We know who you are, Admiral. We've been watching your career. You're considered honorable by Dominion standards. That's why we're talking to you instead of simply destroying your fleet. The blunt threat made Daewon's guards tense. He waved them to relax. What do you want, Captain? Justice. The Dominion murdered our homeworld, killed billions of our ancestors, then hid the crime. That cannot stand. I understand your anger, do you? Borum's eyes flashed. Can you imagine what it's like to grow up hearing stories of a beautiful world called Earth? To learn about mountains and oceans and forests, then to discover it was all destroyed by greed, that our people died screaming while your council covered it up? Daewon had no answer to that. What could he say? The Dominion was guilty. The evidence was undeniable. We could destroy you, Borum continued. Right now, my 6 ships against your entire border fleet. We would win. Our quantum drives would let us appear inside your formations. Our singularity weapons would tear through your shields. We've run the simulations. You'd be dead in 8 minutes. Then why haven't you attacked? Because Captain Hyunwoo convinced our government to give justice a chance. To see if the Dominion would confess. And you did. Elder Sung-min gave you the truth. So now we have a choice to make. On screen, Hyunwoo appeared beside Borum. We can choose revenge. Burn your worlds like you burned ours. Kill billions like you killed our ancestors. Become monsters to fight monsters. Or, Daewon asked, or we can choose justice. Real justice, trials, reparations, reform. We force the Dominion to change, to become what it should have been all along. Before Daewon could respond, alarms blared across his ship. Hana shouted from her station. Admiral! Multiple contacts jumping in. It's the Vreth Collective. The tactical display lit up with red dots, hundreds of them, thousands. A massive fleet was materializing throughout the region. The Vreth were one of the Dominion's oldest enemies. They had been waiting for generations for a chance to strike. They monitored our communications, Hana said. They know about the revelations. They know the Dominion is in chaos. Daewon watched the Vreth fleet take up attack positions. This is what Sung-min warned about. Our enemies sensing weakness. On screen, Borum and Hyunwoo exchanged glances. It seems we all have a bigger problem now, Borum said. A new voice cut across all channels. It was Supreme Archon Taeyang. All Dominion forces, this is a direct order. Engage the Vreth immediately, and the Korean vessels will stand down and submit to Dominion authority, or be destroyed as well. That's not happening, Hyunwoo said flatly. You have no choice. You are outnumbered, outgunned. Submit or die. Borum laughed. It was not a kind sound. Admiral Daewon, tell your Supreme Archon what our ships can do. Daewon looked at the tactical display. 6 Korean ships, 160 Dominion ships, thousands of Vreth ships. Mathematics said the Koreans should surrender, but mathematics didn't account for quantum drives and singularity weapons. Supreme Archon, Daewon said carefully, I don't think threats will work here. Then we'll show them force. Taeyang was furious. Open fire on the Korean vessels. No. Daewon said it clearly, firmly. What did you say, Admiral? I said no, sir. I will not fire on them. They came here for answers. We gave them answers. They deserve justice, not war. You're relieved of command. I'll find an admiral who will follow orders. Good luck with that, Borum said. Because in about 30 seconds, those Vreth ships are going to open fire. And when they do, you're going to need all the help you can get. She was right. The Vreth fleet began moving forward. Weapons powered up. They saw an opportunity to crush the Dominion while it was divided and confused. Hyunwoo looked directly at Daewon. Here's our offer, Admiral. We fight together. We beat back the Vreth. Then, after the battle, we talk about justice, about trials, about how the Dominion answers for its crimes. And if we refuse, then we leave. We let the Vreth destroy you. We go home and build our own civilization away from all of this. Hyunwoo's face was hard. But know this. If the Dominion falls today, we'll make sure the whole galaxy knows why. We'll broadcast what you did to Earth. Your legacy will be genocide and cowardice. The Vreth came like a storm. Their fleet was massive, built over generations specifically to crush the Dominion. Thousands of ships formed a wall of metal and firepower that blotted out the stars. They had waited centuries for this moment of weakness. Now they would take full advantage. Admiral Daewon watched them approach. His Dominion fleet of 160 ships looked tiny in comparison. But beside him, the 6 Korean vessels hung in space, their sleek hulls almost invisible until light hit them just right. All ships, defensive formation, Daewon ordered. His captains responded quickly, creating a layered defense. Heavy battleships in front, support vessels behind. Standard Dominion tactics tested over thousands of years. Captain Borum's voice came through the communication channel. With respect, Admiral, your formation won't work. The Vreth use swarm tactics. They'll surround you and tear you apart from all sides. What do you suggest? Let us lead. Follow our movements. Trust us. Daewon hesitated. Trust an unknown force with his entire fleet? But he remembered what these ships had done to the Krellith. He remembered the technology gaps, the quantum drives, the impossible weapons. All Dominion vessels form up behind the Korean fleet. Follow their lead, his captains protested. This went against everything they knew. But Daewon's authority held. Slowly, reluctantly, the Dominion ships repositioned themselves behind the 6 Korean vessels. Captain Hyun-woo spoke from the Taeguki. Admiral, we're going to do something that will look strange. Don't panic. Just follow where we lead. Understood, the Vreth fired first. Thousands of energy beams lanced through space toward the Korean ships, enough firepower to vaporize entire planets. Lieutenant Hana gripped her console, waiting for the explosion. The Korean ships vanished. One moment they were there. The next, nothing. Just empty space where 6 vessels had been. What? Hana started. Then the Korean ships reappeared, but not where they had been. They were inside the Vreth formation, scattered among the enemy fleet like seeds in a field. Before the Vreth could react, the Koreans opened fire. Singularity weapons activated. Small black holes appeared in the middle of Vreth ship clusters. The artificial gravity wells pulled vessels together, crushing them into each other. Metal screamed. Ships exploded. In seconds, entire sections of the Vreth fleet collapsed into twisted wreckage. "Follow them," Day One shouted. "Jump to their coordinates." The Dominion ships couldn't teleport like the Koreans, but they could use conventional faster-than-light drives to follow. They jumped, appearing at the edge of the chaos the Korean ships had created. Now they could fire into confused, disorganized Vreth formations. The battle became a dance. The Korean ships would vanish and reappear somewhere new, always in the most devastating position. The Dominion fleet would follow, providing support fire in overwhelming numbers. Together, they tore through the Vreth formation with surgical precision. Commander Jiwon's voice came through from the Taegukgi. "Dominion fleet, concentrate fire on coordinates we're transmitting. We've identified the Vreth command ships." Targeting data flooded Hana's console. "Admiral, how do they have this information?" "We've been trying to identify Vreth commanders for decades. Neural combat networks," Dr. Minji explained. She had joined the communication channel. "Our 6 ships operate as one mind. We process battlefield data at quantum speeds. We can track every vessel, predict every movement, identify every weakness. It's like playing a game where we can see the entire board while the enemy sees only their pieces." Daewon watched in amazement as Korean tactics destroyed formations that should have been unbeatable. When Vreth ships tried to surround them, the Koreans simply jumped away and appeared behind the attackers. When the Vreth spread out to prevent this, the Koreans focused all their firepower on single targets, eliminating ships faster than the Vreth could respond. It was not just technology. It was thinking differently. The Dominion had fought the same way for thousands of years because it worked. But the Koreans had been forced to innovate. They had no massive fleets, no endless resources, just 6 ships and the determination to survive. So they had learned to fight smart instead of hard. 2 hours into the battle, the Vreth realized they were losing. Their fleet that had numbered in the thousands was down to hundreds. The wreckage field was massive, and still the Korean ships danced through space untouchable and deadly. Then sensors detected something new. Hana's screen lit up with alerts. "Admiral? Massive quantum signature. Something huge is jumping in." A ship appeared. But calling it a ship was wrong. It was a world, a bioship the size of a small planet, grown rather than built. The Vreth mothership, the heart of their entire civilization. Its surface was covered in weapons, organic cannons that fired living projectiles, biological shields that could regenerate. This was the Vreth's ultimate weapon, deployed only when they were desperate. "All ships fall back," Daewon ordered. "We can't fight that thing." But the Korean ships didn't retreat. They moved forward, gathering together for the first time in the battle. The 6 vessels formed a circle facing the massive mothership. Borum's voice was calm. "Admiral, keep your ships clear. We're going to try something we've only done in simulations." "What are you?" "Collective singularity. All 6 ships fire at once, creating a single massive gravity well. In theory, it should work. In theory. And if it doesn't, then we all die. Now back up." Daewon ordered his fleet to retreat to a safe distance. He watched as the 6 Korean ships synchronized their movements perfectly. They were operating as one being now, their neural networks completely linked. The mothership opened fire. Thousands of biological projectiles flew toward the Korean vessels, living weapons that could track and adapt. But the Koreans didn't dodge. They held position even as the projectiles closed in. "Fire," Borum commanded. All 6 ships fired their singularity weapons simultaneously. The separate black holes appeared, then merged together into something much larger, a gravity well so strong it bent light around it. The biological projectiles were pulled off course, sucked into the artificial black hole and crushed. But the Korean ships didn't stop there. They pushed more energy into the singularity. The black hole grew larger, larger. It began pulling on the mothership itself. The massive Vreth vessel tried to escape. Its biological engines pushed at maximum power. But it was too close, too slow. The gravity well was too strong. Daewon watched in horror and awe as the planet-sized mothership was pulled toward the black hole. It stretched, distorted. The Vreth inside were sending desperate signals, begging for help. But there was nothing anyone could do. The mothership touched the event horizon, and then it was gone. Pulled into the singularity and compressed into nothing, the Korean ships immediately cut their weapons. The black hole collapsed without their energy feeding it. Space returned to normal. The 6 vessels hung in the void, their energy readings critically low. That, Hyunwoo said, his voice exhausted, was unpleasant. The remaining Vreth fleet broke. Without their mothership, without their command structure, they fled in all directions. The Dominion fleet pursued, destroying or capturing what they could. But the battle was over. Against impossible odds, they had won. Daewon's crew was cheering. His officers celebrated. They had survived what should have been annihilation. But Daewon felt no joy. He was watching the Korean ships carefully. Hana, status on those vessels. Reading critical power levels, sir. They used everything they had on that final shot. They're vulnerable right now, which meant this would be the perfect time to destroy them. With their energy depleted, the Korean ships couldn't jump away, couldn't fight back effectively. A few well-placed shots and the entire Korean fleet would be eliminated. Supreme Archon Taeyang appeared on screen. His face was calculating. Admiral Daewon, you see the opportunity. These humans helped us, yes, but they're also a threat. They know our secrets. They have technology beyond ours. This is our chance to eliminate that threat while they're weak. Daewon looked at the 6 ships. He thought about how they had fought, how they had trusted the Dominion enough to exhaust themselves saving them. He thought about Captain Hyunwoo's calm professionalism, Captain Borum's fierce honor, Dr. Minji's brilliant analysis, Commander Jiwon's tactical genius. He thought about Earth, about billions of humans dying for Dominion greed, about 900 years of lies. No, Daewon said. What? I said no, Supreme Archon. I will not betray them. They fought beside us. They saved us. If you want them destroyed, you'll have to find someone else to do it. I'll have you executed for this, then execute me. But history will record that when the Dominion had a chance to do the right thing, you chose treachery instead. Taeyang's face twisted with rage. Very well. I'm sending orders directly to your captains. They'll do what you won't. The screen went dark. Daewon looked at his crew. All hands, this is the Admiral. In a moment, you're going to receive orders to fire on the Korean vessels. I'm countermanding those orders. Anyone who wants to follow the Supreme Archon instead of me is free to do so. No punishment. But understand this, if we betray them now, we prove everything they believe about us. We prove the Dominion values power over honor. Silence on the bridge. Then Hana spoke. Sir, what are your orders? Form a defensive perimeter around the Korean ships. The Dominion capital world burned with riots, not with actual fire, but with the fury of billions who had just learned the truth. Admiral Daewon had broadcast everything. The real archives, the destruction of Earth, 900 years of lies. Now the entire galaxy knew what the Dominion had done. In the council chambers, Supreme Archon Taeyang stood trial. Not in the quiet, dignified way leaders usually face judgment. He was in chains, surrounded by guards, facing charges of conspiracy, genocide cover-up, and attempted betrayal of Allied forces. The council that had once obeyed him now looked at him with disgust. Elder Sungmin presided over the trial. His ancient voice carried through the chamber. Supreme Archon Taeyang, you are accused of ordering the destruction of Allied Korean vessels after they saved the Dominion fleet. How do you plead? Those humans were never our allies. They're a threat to everything we've built. They saved us, Sungmin said quietly. And you tried to kill them for it? That is not leadership. That is cowardice. The trial lasted 3 days. Evidence was overwhelming. Recorded communications, testimony from fleet captains, even some of Taeyang's own subordinates spoke against him. When the verdict came, it was unanimous, guilty on all charges. Taeyang was stripped of his position and sentenced to exile on a prison world. As guards led him away, he shouted threats and accusations, but no one listened anymore. The old Dominion built on secrets and lies was dying. Something new had to take its place. Admiral Daewon stood with the Korean delegation in a massive conference hall. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the space. This was the first session of what they were calling the Galactic Assembly. Not an empire, not a dominion, a true gathering where every species had equal voice. Captain Borum addressed the assembly. She wore a formal uniform now, representing the Korean government officially. We came here seeking justice for what was done to Earth. We found something worse than we expected. We found an empire built on covering up its crimes, but we also found people willing to do what's right. She gestured to Daewon. This admiral defied his own government to protect us. His crews chose honor over orders. They proved that the Dominion isn't just its corrupt leaders. There are good people here. Captain Hyunwoo spoke next. But good people aren't enough. Systems matter. Laws matter. The Dominion concentrated too much power in too few hands. That's how crimes like Earth's destruction become possible. So we propose a new system. Dr. Minji displayed the plan on holographic screens visible throughout the hall. A democratic galactic assembly. Every spacefaring species gets representation based on population. Decisions require majority vote. No single leader can declare war or authorize genocide. Power is distributed, checked, balanced. And what about reparations? Someone shouted from the crowd. The Dominion destroyed Earth. How do they pay for that? Hyunwoo's expression was sad. They can't. Earth is gone. Billions of our ancestors are dead. No amount of money or resources will bring them back. But what the Dominion can do is change. Become better. Make sure nothing like this ever happens again. That's not enough. The speaker was a Krellith representative. Our fleet was destroyed by your weapons. We demand compensation. Your fleet attacked our research outpost first, Commander Jiwon said coldly. You killed our civilians. We responded. Under the laws of war, that's justified self-defense. The Dominion will investigate what happened. Elder Sungmin interjected. If the Krellith are found to have initiated hostilities without cause, they will face consequences. This new order applies to everyone, no exceptions. The debates continued for weeks. Species that had been oppressed by the Dominion demanded their own justice. Old grievances surfaced. The entire galactic order was being torn apart and rebuilt from scratch. But slowly, a new structure emerged. The Galactic Assembly was officially formed. Every member species ratified a constitution that guaranteed rights and established clear rules for interaction between civilizations. War was not outlawed, but strict protocols governed when and how it could be declared. Genocide became a crime punishable by complete economic and political isolation. Admiral Su Jin, who had commanded the Korean Home Fleet and was the highest-ranking officer in their military, was elected the first Secretary General of the Assembly. She stood before the gathered species and took an oath to serve them all equally. This won't be easy, she said. We're hundreds of species with different needs, different values, different ways of thinking. We'll argue. We'll disagree. That's okay. What matters is that we talk instead of fight. We vote instead of wage war. We remember the mistakes of the past so we don't repeat them. Daewon watched from the audience. He had been offered a position in the new Assembly Military Command. He had declined. He was tired. He had spent his whole life serving the Dominion. Now he wanted time to figure out what he believed. Apart from orders and duty, Hana had stayed with him. She had been officially pardoned for leaking classified information, since that leak had exposed necessary truths. Now she worked as a historian, documenting everything that had happened, making sure this time the records would be accurate and complete. Do you think it will work? She asked Daewon as they watched Sujin's speech. This new assembly? I don't know. Democracy is messy. People will disagree. Progress will be slow, but at least it will be real progress, not just maintaining the status quo. What will you do now? Daewon smiled slightly. I think I'll go see Earth. The journey took several weeks. Daewon traveled on a civilian transport, not a military vessel. He wanted to see the old homeworld as a person, not as an admiral. When they arrived in Earth's solar system, he was shocked. The planet wasn't the dead rock he expected. From space, he could see green, not covering the whole world like in ancient pictures, but there, patches of forest, stretches of grassland, even some blue that might be recovering oceans. Dr. Minji met him at the orbital station. She had led an expedition here months ago. The planet is healing, she explained. It's been 800 years since the mining stopped. Life is incredibly resilient. Ecosystems survived underground. In the deep oceans. They're slowly reclaiming the surface. Can it be inhabited again? Eventually. Not in our lifetimes, maybe not for centuries, but yes, Earth will live again. They took a shuttle to the surface. Day one stood on soil that had once supported billions of humans. The landscape was scarred. He could still see the massive mining operations, now rusted and overgrown. Evidence of the crime the Dominion had committed, but he also saw flowers. Small, delicate things pushing up through contaminated soil, life refusing to surrender. We're establishing a memorial here, Minji said. A place to remember everyone who died. We're also setting up research stations to help the recovery. In a way, we're undoing what the Dominion did. It won't bring them back. No, but it's something. And sometimes something is all we can do. Back in space, Captain Hyunwoo prepared the Taeguki for departure. His mission was complete. Justice had been achieved, or at least started. Now he could return to exploration, which was what he had always wanted to do anyway. Where will you go? Day one asked during their final communication. Beyond the known galaxy, there are entire regions we haven't explored yet. Species we haven't met. Maybe some of them need help. Maybe some of them are threats. Either way, we need to know. Sounds dangerous, Ma. Sounds perfect. Hyunwoo smiled. The Dominion made a mistake, Admiral. They stopped exploring. They thought they knew everything. They became comfortable. Comfortable empires become corrupt empires. We won't make that mistake. We'll keep pushing forward. Keep learning. Keep growing. The new assembly could use ships like yours, and they'll have them. Just not this one. The Taeguki has a different job. Hyunwoo's expression became serious. The galaxy is bigger than anyone realizes. The Dominion only mapped a fraction of it. Out there, beyond known space, there might be others like the Vreth, or worse. Someone needs to find them first. Establish contact. Prevent future wars. You're making yourself a scout. I'm making myself useful. Besides, someone has to make sure the assembly has accurate information. Real exploration. Real records. Not the sanitized political version the old archives had. Daewon understood. Hyunwoo wasn't running away. He was doing what he did best. Going where no one else would. Finding what others missed. Protecting people who didn't even know they needed protection. Safe travels, Captain. Thank you, Admiral. Or should I say Citizen Daewon now? Just Daewon is fine. They ended the communication. Daewon watched as the Taeguki prepared to jump. The sleek vessel charged its quantum drives, energy rippling along its hull in beautiful patterns. Then it was gone, vanished into folded space heading toward the unknown. Lieutenant Hana joined him at the window. Think we'll see them again? The Koreans, oh yes. They're part of the assembly now. They'll be around. I meant Captain Hyunwoo specifically. Maybe, if we're lucky, or unlucky depending on what he finds out there. Hana pulled up a datapad. I finished the first volume of the historical record. Everything that happened, from the discovery of the destroyed Krellith fleet to the formation of the assembly. I'm calling it The Unrecorded World. Good title. I want your approval before I publish it. You're a major figure in the story? Daewon took the datapad and skimmed through it.